Get to leave your hair. Hey everybody, it's Chloe Baggins.
And I am Bushido.
Yes, that's Mr. Bushido to you.
Hey!
I stole your thunder.
That's my line. Come up with your own stuff. That's Mr. Bushido. To all of you.
One more time.
To all of you.
You're angry.
That's mine.
You're an angry
Come
little
up with your own material there, Baggins.
This is my show, bitch.
Anyway, we're here now for episode 2 of our holiday movie series. And today, we're working off of our last review and we're doing...
The Santa Claus 2.
Yeah, so this was, again, another movie that I had not seen when it had originally come out. I just saw it a couple minutes ago.
The 2 came out in 2002.
Yeah, so that's what, 8 years in between, because
Right.
the first one came out in 94.
Yes.
Returning cast, everyone came back.
Yes, except for Miss Judy.
Judy, the one elf that made Santa's
Her
hot chocolate.
chocolate.
So for the sequel, the main plot thread this time is...
The Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, apparently there's some super fine print
Not just small fine print, exceedingly small fine print.
that says that Tim Allen has to have a wife. Scott Calvin, Santa Claus, has to get married and find a Mrs. Claus before Christmas on the 8th year.
Eve.
Christmas Eve, before Christmas, or he loses his Santa powers. Desantification process.
The desantification process has begun!
I liked him.
Curtis.
So this sequel, man, I liked it a lot better than the first one.
Did you?
I did, because they did a really good job. I mean, remember, this is before the whole Marvel universe, making sure everything continues and paying attention to the details. They did a good job expanding the world that they had established in the first movie. Like in the first one, you only saw snippets of the North Pole, right? Because Christmas took place in the beginning and end of the first movie. But this time, they really showed you like the ins and outs of the North Pole and how much technology they really have.
Well, and also, you know, times changed real fast. Like evolution in computers and graphics changed tremendously from 1994 to even 2002. Like by this time, Toy Story, you know, one of the largest.
Yeah, Toy Story 1 and 2 had already come out. 1 and 2
had already both come out. Like 95 and 1999. So
yeah,
it was a huge difference between
and it was so cool how the writers did a good job of kind of expanding the mythology of what is required to be Santa Claus and like the scope of his powers. We're talking about Santa Claus powers now. It's not just, you know, ho 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 and here are the toys. There's like, they did a good job like making sure
deeper
of the rules that are required to be met so that oh god, what was his name again? Scott, right? Uncle Scott could remain Santa. Like it was cool. Like in the movie, it even justified why Tim Allen can appear as Tim Allen again in the film. Scott Calvin. You know who I'm talking about. And it was cool how it would show like the more time he spent getting closer to Christmas as a single man, he would progressively look less and less as Santa and more as Tim Allen. That was really cool. It made sense in the movie.
Yes.
It wasn't just like, oh, we got to make him look like Tim Allen because Tim Allen. It's like, no. In the story, it requires him to look normal again.
Because he's getting closer and closer to Christmas.
Yeah, and he has a limited amount of magic he can use.
It's not just all the magic in the world.
Yeah, like, and the more magic he uses, he had a watch, like like a pre-Apple Watch that his like science nerd
Bernard.
Curtis.
No, Bernard gave it to him.
Bernard gave it to him, developed by Curtis, that would monitor, hey, if you use so much magic, this so much, you hit 0, you can't come back to the North Pole, you're done. And so it was really interesting how he used those powers.
I cried every time he used those powers because it just really seemed so magical and just very well placed. You know, like it wasn't the selfish Scott Calvin that we saw in the first film.
It's gone.
Completely gone.
Yeah, like he's embraced being Santa Claus, and he loves it. It's 8 years later. It's like, what is this, man? The Dark Knight Rises, man. 8 years later, he's still Santa Claus. Like, oh my goodness. And he's embraced it. He loves it. He looks forward to it. And he was genuinely like, I don't want to stop being Santa Claus. No. You know? It was cool. And now, again, like we said, the main part of the movie is he's got to find a Mrs. Claus. So it's essentially a romantic, it's a romantic comedy with Santa Claus. And it surprisingly works. As an adult man, or an adult viewer nerd, who's seen it for the first time, it works. I think it's become, like, it's on my list of rom-coms now. You are
a huge fan of rom-coms.
I love rom-coms. Yeah, I love rom-coms. Yes. I grew up in a house full of women, so I love rom-coms.
There's nothing wrong with liking it whether you grew up in a house full of women or not.
No, I know. It's just, in my case, it was just par for the course.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. It was really cool. And what's really cool, too, is that, you know, as he's been completely desantified, he's looking like normal Tim Allen. Kids can still, through the eyes of children, they can tell he's Santa Claus. That's just such a cool, like, unspoken little detail that the writers threw in, and I like that. I appreciate that.
It's very magical.
Yeah, and you know the way it's the principal of the school, of his now older son's high school.
Did you realize that her name was Carol?
Yeah, he even made a joke, Caroline, with Carol. Yeah.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it's pretty smooth. If you have Santa powers around Christmas, that's a really cool way to meet a nice girl on Christmas, if you got the Christmas powers to woo her like that. And I think too, I think the most heartwarming scene was at the faculty Christmas party. It's like everyone's there, they're just like standing around. Like, it sucks. Like, it looks like the most boring place to be. Like, you'd rather be counting the fibers of carpet on your carpet than being at this place at home. And then, you know, he uses his Santa powers to give all the teachers
Secret Santa gifts.
And what's cool too is that him being Santa, his powers allows him to know all of their childhood stories. Like, he knew what to give them with his powers. I appreciate that. And I think the important, when everyone,
adult, you genuinely wanted to be at that Christmas party, so you could get that one gift that
you maybe never got,
or you loved it so much and your mom and dad made you get rid of it in cleaning out the closet. What was one gift you would want?
I don't know. I have a nerd museum that I kept all my stuff.
Let's say something that you wish you would have kept.
I kept all the stuff I wanted to keep. I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm a collector, so I kept everything. What about you? I should ask you that question.
I don't know, because I got to keep all my stuff.
We're the wrong people to ask. Once the teachers all get their childhood, like,
gifts,
then everybody, you just see the love.
And so much fun.
It looked like they were having so much fun. And it's like, watching it as an adult, again, we're probably not the right audience, because we've kept our childhood stuff, and I am a collector to this day. So it's probably more for like the adult, like our parents, or like, you know, those of us that probably did outgrow the stuff from the 80s and 90s.
And they had to sell it, or they lost it in
fire. And it's like, oh my God, you know, so be able to appreciate that and connect with that is very, very heartwarming. And I think the lesson there is that no matter how old we get, is to never lose that aspect of our childhood as to who we are. You know, no matter how how life is, or how we could be 60 years old. I'm still going to be playing video games. I'm still going to be watching anime. I'm still going to be watching cartoons and
Disney
collecting
Plus.
my stuff. Yeah, I think that's what keeps the magic alive inside all of us. And that was a really important message. Again, another side message on top of the main plot of the movie. They did a really good job. It's a very layered film. Very, very layered film. I was really impressed.
Very enthusiastic.
I am. Clearly, I'm going to give it a really good rating because I really had a good time. I had a very, very good time.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
I love this movie too.
Yeah, and then while he's back in normal, back in society, they had to make a copy Santa Claus, and that all goes to hell, and it becomes like a
dictator.
Oh my God, like goose stepping soldiers and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just, they had to have some kind of antagonist, some kind of something that he has to overcome.
As if it wasn't already stressful enough that he has to find a wife.
Yeah, and the lady that plays the eventual Mrs. Claus, I really enjoyed her performance. Like, she was just really like chilly and very just intimidating, very standoffish, like typical mean school principal. But then as she slowly gets to know Scott, you see her just warm up. Even her clothing is just giving off more of a glow. Yeah. And, just the emotion coming off of her talking about her past with Christmas.
Baby doll.
And when she got the doll, I'm like, damn, man, if there's a way to win a girl over, you brothers, you better bring your Santa Claus powers to the date, because, man, that was a good scene.
It's not that he got her the gift, it's the sentiment.
Yeah, he paid attention.
Yeah.
Yep, it's not the gift, fellas. It's paying attention to the reasons why.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I mean, I enjoyed the movie, and I'm gonna give. Since I didn't see it, I'll give my rating first.
No, well, let's talk about Chet, because you were asking, where's Rudolph?
Oh yeah. There's no Rudolph yet.
There's no Rudolph.
Yeah.
But I want to acknowledge Chet, because Chet, if you grew up in the 90s, the voice sounds familiar. Chet is like, it's this kind of nasally sounding voice.
The reindeer that was just he was still a baby. He was kind of like
goofy and
kind
all
of
over
a
the
spaz.
place.
Yeah.
And if you picked up on it, he actually is the voice of one of the voice talents that was on Rugrats.
Yep.
She did Phil and Lil, the twins in Rugrats. So that was actually pretty cool but I don't know why I thought it was Tara Strong, but that's probably why, is because she was on Rugrats.
Yeah.
They both were on.
That's very cool.
So with that being said, let's hear about your review.
Oh man, my review, my biggest critique of the first one was that when it came to the fantastical aspects of showcasing Santa's powers with the reindeer coming down the chimney, it really showed painfully the limitation in special effects for whatever budget they gave the first one. And that kind of knocked the score down, because it really took me out of the movie. But for this one, this is a post, Toy Story, post first X-Men time when this came out, 2002. So, the special effects were much better. I mean, again, it's not Thanos level of special effects, but for what they were doing with the movie, it worked. And I love the romance plot. I love the rom-com aspect of it. The details to the clauses and requirements of why he has to be Santa, and the unspoken effects of his powers with the kids. I give this 9 out of 10 Bagginses. I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants like a nice, fun holiday film.
Wow.
Yeah, I give this 9 out of 10 Bagginses. I feel they did a very good job structuring the film. So many layers. The rules of the film with what's going on make sense. Everything's justified, and it has, again, the heart. My biggest praise of the first one is it had a lot of heart. It was a very good, heartwarming message and theme that carries on even more here. And I think they expanded on it exponentially because of the romance aspect of it for meeting Mrs. Claus. 9 out of 10 Bagginses. I liked it. Thank you for showing it to me. Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that's me. 9 out of 10.
So I love this movie. I think Tim Allen and Tim Allen did a fantastic job because he plays the bad Santa.
Yeah, he had to play
Santa.
too. Yep, that's right. And all I could hear was Buzz Lightyear coming out of him.
Oh my God! But they did a good job with the makeup. Like it looked like a toy.
A plastic,
they even put on like plastic gloves to make his hands look very rubbery. And I think because I was older when I saw this in the movie theater,
right?
It doesn't have the same magic and effect that it had on me at the time.
Right.
But it was still something that we saw in the movie theater. I waited to see it with my parents because it was kind of like a tradition for us at this point. And I think I'd rate it probably a 9 out of 10. It's still really high. It just had lost some of the magic for me already because in 2002, how old were we? 20?
Yeah, we were already in university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, being 20 years old and still like, you know, you really want to like the movie, but you're too cool to, you know, to liking it. And so that's kind of where I was at the time. But it's a great movie. It really shows how quickly graphics progressed.
Yeah,
and how
under 10 years.
They've been, you know, and 20 years has passed, almost 18 years. And graphics are still pretty much the same. You know, they've progressed, very, you know, progressive. They've progressed, obviously, but it's still, you know, it was pretty seamless watching it on, you know, a large TV that's high definition. So yeah, I would
4K.
say,
yeah,
I would say 9 out of 10. So.
Yeah, the movie definitely helped. For me, for us, clearly, it holds up. You're not going to be rolling your eyes at it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this doesn't really hold up very well.
I think what I loved the most was that is that they kept all of the characters the same. The only one that changed was Judy. And
yeah, but that's a small character, but they tried to get a look-alike.
Yeah, who was equally as cute and lovely. But Charlie, you know, Charlie grew up. And
yeah, he grew up. He's going through a thing with girls and this and that. And, you know, the focus was definitely, the father-son dynamic was not the focus this time. It's really, you know, we're seeing the movie through, you know.
Through Scott's eyes.
Yeah, this time, not the son's like the first one. So very good movie. I liked it. I wish I saw it back in the day. I really do. I don't know why, because I never outgrew this stuff, you know, so I don't know why it wasn't on the radar. It was in school. It was different. You're busy. You're stressed. So whatever.
Most of the time, you're a broke college student.
Yeah, you know, grilled cheese sandwiches,
ramen noodles,
shenanigans.
So, what did you guys think of the Santa Claus 2? Do you like it more, less, equally?
Oh wait, we got to talk about that one scene where he confesses to her about being who he is.
Oh, rewind
real quick. I gotta say, I had very huge 1989 Michael Keaton Batman vibes when he finally confessed to her who I am. I was like, dude, he's gonna have an I'm Batman conversation, isn't he? And at the end of the conversation, I'm Santa Claus. I'm like, dude, you even said it in like a semi-gravelly voice. Like, oh my God, that you're having an I'm Batman conversation with this girl, like she's Vicky Vale. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Blonde too.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Man, that was good. That's all I wanted to say.
Did anybody else pick up on that?
I did.
This is the first time I actually realized that. Because
I don't know if it's intended by the writers, but just the setup and the confession. I'm like, Batman. He's gonna tell her he's Batman, and he did. Very cool. So I enjoyed the movie.
Is that something you guys picked up on? Let us know. So again, back to where we were. Like us, subscribe, make sure to follow us on Instagram, give us a thumbs up, tell your friends about us. We really want to get the discussion going about all these nostalgic movies from the holidays. And make sure to give a huge shout out to Bushido over here. And to the Baggins. And the Bushido.
That's it.
That's it.
So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, be good to yourselves and those around you. And no matter what, be excellent to each other.
And Wakanda forever.
And ever.